evening. Welcome to City Council and committees both meeting tonight. We're starting with our 3 standing committees because of the break we just took. We also have a full City Council meeting tonight, but before we call the roll for Codes and Regulation Committee meeting, we will entertain our 5 public speakers, and before that we will have invocation and Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation will be given by Pastor Corey Whitford from Bethany Presbyterian Church.
Thank you. Father, we thank you for this invitation to serve such a fine city. Father, we ask that you would bless this gathering. We ask that you would open our hearts so that we can listen and learn. God, that you would guide us to be instruments of peace that flow for everyone here. We pray all this in the name that is above all names. That name is Jesus Christ, we pray. All God's people said, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so if you are signed up for public comment, you have 3 minutes to address the council. You will hear an alarm that goes off when your time is up, and you can approach either of the 2 microphones in the back of the room and address the council from either one of them. Our first speaker this evening is Prophet Youssef.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Happy New Year. In the book of Psalms, 133rd chapter, the first verse, it says, "How good and pleasant it is when brothers live together in unity." What I want to speak about tonight, hurricane rescue, show how quickly division wash away. Tragedies like the one unfolding in Texas, as rain continue to fall and flood water rise, have a way of peeling layers off people until only their humanity remain. Just the bare essence, the good stuff, stripped away are the things that bog us down so much. Things like faith, or skin color, sexuality, or political beliefs. A few days before Hurricane Harvey began unleashing its fury on the coast of Texas, my good friend, Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Army combat veteran who lost both her legs in Iraq, released a statement reacting to a proposed ban on transgender men and women serving in the military. When I was bleeding to death in my Black Hawk helicopter after I was shot down, I didn't care if the American troops risking their lives to help save me were gay, straight, transgender, black, immigrants, white or brown. All that mattered was they didn't leave me behind. When it comes to life or death, bias, hate, prejudice, bigotry, and bitterness tend to wash off rather quickly. So it has been in Houston and Rockford and Dickinson and other Texas cities and towns. You don't see videos of people squabbling. You see regular people becoming heroes and stranded people accepting help with tears and elation. A story by Matt Pearson of the Los Angeles Times described it this way. Across Texas, there were reports of citizens mobilizing with walkie-talkies, boats, and boots to help pull people from the rising water. Social media lit up with a video posted by a reporter for Clark News, in which a man from Texas City, near Galveston, was preparing to deploy his small boat. "I'm going to go try to save some lives today," he said. That man is black. I don't imagine that made a lick of difference to the people he went on to help. There's a singularity about these folks. They're good people doing good things, and there isn't anything else about them, about the people that matter. It shouldn't take a tragedy to remind us how capable we are of cooperation. It shouldn't take a storm to wash away our prejudice, bigotry, and hate, and grief, and get us to grasp hands. Hurricane Harvey brought out the works of Mother Nature, but it also brought out the exceptional goodness of American people. I want to thank God for them American troops who saved my good friend, Senator Tammy Duckworth. I want to thank God for the good people in Texas who saved the people there. I also been want to tell my brother, Cedric, this, who made 92, and he's still not through. And Pastor Melvin Brown, Brother Jacoby's wife, and Brother Henry's wife, this for a long time. And I'm going to get it off my chest tonight. I don't like you, I love you, and you can't do nothing about it. And happy birthday, my good friends, and I wish you many more. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Our second speaker this evening is Denzel Winter.
Good evening, City Council members. And I decided, since we have the shortest month for Black History, that I'm going to go from January to February. And my first one today is fighting on two fronts in the World War II. An account of American soldiers, Black American soldiers in World War II, who combat racism in a segregated military on the home front. And in April 1945, some of the black soldiers were among the first to go in to some of the camps and liberate some of the prisoners in there. And the thing that was troubling to me was the fact that everybody thought that the black soldier was a coward. But if you look at history and look at where they were at, they were some of the first ones on the front line. They had some of their so-called officers, rather than being with their troops, they're in the back line talking about, well, they're going to run back here pretty soon. But that never happened. They fought and they liberated. They went into prison camps and liberated prison camps. Some of them said they never saw anything like they saw in them camps, what them people did. It was a shame. And then when we fought over there, a lot of us died over there. And when we came back here, you know what they did for us? They started rioting against us because they thought we were uppity. We thought we were beside ourselves. But all we was trying to do was fight for our country. You know, and it's a shame. You know, I lost a lot of people in the Vietnam War. I lost one guy, he fought in Vietnam only to come back here to the United States to lose his life. And that's a shame. When we can't even put aside the differences that happens so that we can get together as a country. But just like earlier today, when they said that the president went over there and took a president out of his country.
Thank you.
That wasn't right.
Thank you.
But I will be back.
Our third speaker this evening is Lola Mae Parham. Is Lola here? Okay, we will move on to our fourth speaker, John Tack Brantley.
I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. And this past week was very interesting. We took 6 families to Walmart. They got $100 apiece. They was also they fed them Subway sandwiches. Then he turned around and blessed them 5 families with $950. I split up among them. We also went to the Harlem Globetrotters game, which was very interesting because our kids, for the first time this year, 30 of them was able to interact with the Harlem Globetrotters players and get autographs and take pictures. I want to thank our alderpersons, that was able to help make that happen for our 30 kids to go see the Harlem Gold Travelers. And once again, just like at the Ice Hogs, the school pay 500 to 1,000 kids to go to see the Ice Hogs. But when it comes to the Harlem Gold Travelers, the schools do not step up to the plate. So instead of complaining about the school, what the school not doing, is what we should be doing, and that's looking out for our people. During that time at the Harlem Gold Travelers, me and Alderman Bell got a little. Let me turn this off. We got a little. They brought us into the program. I'm gonna speak on Bell first. He came in there late. The captain of the Harlem Gold Travelers players ran up there and made him and his entourage hurry up and sit down. Lo and behold, just to show you how much they be paying attention, I call myself getting up, walking, go take a couple of the parents to the canteen. All of a sudden, I hear somebody tapping on my shoulder, one of the parents telling me to look. I look around. It's the captain of the Harlem Gold Travelers players asking me, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to get something to eat." "Oh, no. You can't get up in church. You can't get up in my game. Go sit back down." And I'm looking, the kid laughing. He said, "Just your family?" I said, "No, they in my program, Renewal Turning Point program." So then he turned around and told everybody, out of 3,000 people was there, he told everybody, say hello to Renewal Turning Point program and Brother John. Them 30 seconds of embarrassment, of fame, I ain't gonna never forget, but that's the best publicity in the world for them to see our kids to be at the Harlem Gold Travelers game. So instead of complaining about what somebody's doing and not doing, it's what we need to do is step up to the plate. I want to end my conversation about dictator wannabe Donald Trump. You knew doggone well the only reason he went to Venezuela was because of the oil, the deepest oil in the world. Now, mind you, Colombia, Mexico, they got sections of their land that's controlled by the cartel. Why? You didn't go where you know that actually where the drugs at. And then why would you bomb boats leaving that country and not even going on the boats to see if they had any drugs or not? Dictator wannabe Donald Trump. Everywhere you see, he got his name posted up. I will be back later to finish talking about Project 2025. And thank everyone that paid for our kids to go see the Harlem Gold Travelers game. And most of all, you gentlemen.
Thank you. And our next speaker is Ken Dickens.
Good evening. I just want to take a couple of my seconds to acknowledge the gentleman that spoke. And I don't know if you know this about the history of Rosie the Riveter. She was characterized after a black woman, but they made her white because it was the black women that they took and forced them to go into the factories and work. And she was literally drawn based on what black women's efforts were, but to make it warm and fuzzy for America, they did make her a white woman. So that is actually a fact. Rosie the Riveter was designed on black women during our military times as well. Just wanted you to hear that, but from here. You're welcome. Now, I will continue to talk about the cannabis grant, but different aspects of it. And the reason why I chose to continue to speak about it tonight is, granted, it was part of the budget prior to the end of the close of last year. My concern was, and will be moving forward, the fact that Rockford ultimately ends up with a surplus. Case in point, 31 million surplus revealed from 2022 Rockford City budget. Rockford City Council approves 332 million surplus spending plan. Here's how it will be spent. This was in December 19th, 2023. October 8th, 2024. Breakdown, Rockford's newly approved 23 million surplus revenue spending plan. If history is going to repeat itself, we will have another one. So for anyone to sit in here, it would be disingenuous to say it's an all or nothing, we have to spend it, and we can't replenish the Rockford Regrow Grant. And before I left, one of the main things that I heard that disgusted me, and yes, I'm using the word correctly in context, it disgusted me to hear the pushback from some of the aldermen when that was even proposed to replenish it. I even heard one alderman, I don't have to call him out, you can pull the video if you want to watch the clip, where he literally shook his head, turned bright red, and said, absolutely not. When someone else suggested it and said, well, if there is a surplus, sir, when you said it, when there is a surplus, why wouldn't you replenish it? That's what he said. And the response came from the alderman, absolutely not. Just spend it. Keep in mind the money is an opportunity because it becomes seed money in the hands of a man who can't flip burgers because he has a felony. Keep in mind that there are doctors and lawyers all over Illinois quitting their practice so they can become multimillionaires in 5 years.
Thank you.
I yield my time.
And we'll go back to Lola Mae Parham if she is here. Okay, seeing that she is not, we'll move into our agenda. We have 8 items. Clerk, would you please call the roll? Here. Thank you. Our first item is approval of the 2025-2026 contract between the City of Rockford and the Winnebago County Health Department for a tobacco enforcement program to conduct compliance checks. Is there a motion to approve? I'll second. Are there any questions or comments on item 1? Alderwoman Trina.
Thank you. I do have a question for the chief on this one. Obviously, we've approved this in the past, but I guess I'm just seeing it with a fresh set of eyes this time. It's a pretty small dollar amount. Looks like we're paying $11,000 a year for this program. Can you explain to me why the city is paying for this and not the county? And if they're not, is that like a possible partnership, or can you just kind of give me a little bit more info about? And then also, I don't know that I'm clear on what fund we're taking this from too.
I guess we're going to legal and not to the police chief. Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, if I could take that.
A lot of finger pointing
Please,
here.
whoever's the appropriate person.
Okay.
So no, for the City of Rockford, this is a free program. This is a grant secured by the Winnebago County Health Department. We spend the money up front. We are reimbursed 100% by the county. So it's a $0 for the city. So yes.
Okay. That's all.
That answers your question?
It does, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, 32XX Searles Avenue. Zoning Board of Appeals recommends approval for a zoning map amendment from R3 multifamily residential zoning to R1 single-family residential zoning at 32XX Searles Avenue. Melanie Ladig and Gary Hafferty are the applicants. Is there a motion to approve? Are there any questions or comments on item 2? Alderwoman Meeks.
Thank you for allowing me to speak on your committee. I didn't get a chance to review this. What was the reasoning for the change?
Alderwoman Meeks, the woman bought this vacant lot that was at the end of a stub street that had been zoned R3, and she wanted it to be attached to her property, which is zoned R1, so she just wanted to get one tax bill and keep it off the same zoning, so that's why.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Are there any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, 6783 and 6819 Fincham Drive and 88 886 and 891 Whitechapel Lane. Zoning Board of Appeals recommends approval for a zoning map amendment from C2 Limited Commercial Zoning District to R2 Two-Family Residential Zoning District at 6783 and 6819 Fincham Drive and 886 and 891 Whitechapel Lane. LAS Management is the applicant. Is there a motion to approve? Are there any questions or comments on item 3? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 4, 2102 McFarland Road. Zoning Board of Appeals recommends approval for a special use permit for an off-premise business sign in a C3 General Commercial Zoning District at 2102 McFarland Road. First Perryville Development Corporation is the applicant. Is there a motion to approve? I'll move. Is there a second? This is 2102 McFarland Road. I believe so. I'm sorry, did somebody second? Okay. All right. Mr. Capovilla, do you want to explain what this is, since not everyone apparently saw this? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is for a new Chase Bank that's going to go in. If you're at the development there, I believe it's Anjali Way or Drive, it comes in off of Perryville, and it goes over to McFarland. So between McFarland and Perryville, there's a large area, and a big portion of that on the fronting Perryville is actually detention pond. So Chase will be sitting over on the McFarland side, and they want to have signage that goes out to Perryville Road. So it would actually be off-site, and it would be on part of the detention pond and not on their property. So.
Are there any other questions or comments? Alderman Durkee.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. This sign and this development is in my ward. I'm opposed to this sign. The reason being is if it's not on any of your documents or pictures, when this first started years ago as Meyer and was going to be Perryville Promenade, the developer asked for an out of ordinance and asked for a special sign that's now placed on Rote Road in Perryville. It's a large sign. It's made of brick. It's a nice sign. And the reason why the developer asked for that is because of the development, and he wanted a bigger sign so that people could see that. Because obviously we have enough sign jungles. So along Perryville, council at the time made an exception for this larger sign with the anticipation of further development coming. And that's why we did it. The developer then took advantage and put up another Verizon sign along Perryville. So this is now turning into a sign jungle area. Most of it'll be a Chase Bank. If you've seen a Chase Bank, their signage on their building is big. If you drive by it, there's a light on Perryville and there's a light up by Spring Creek. So even if you drive past it, for some reason you miss it, you don't need a big sign, you'll easily find it. And to tell you the truth, banks and such, they're drive-to destinations. You don't need a sign to find them. You got GPS. So again, I know this is unusual because I've supported some other signs, but it's avoiding a sign jungle. It's putting a sign really where we don't need it. And I'm actually pretty strongly opposed to it because we already had an agreement with the developer for the larger sign on Rote and Perryville that was out of compliance with our ordinances at the time. We made an exception for that.
Are there any other questions or comments? Alderwoman Prunty.
Did you want to, can you not just confirm it, it's not that I disbelieve Alderman Durkee, did you have anything to add to that? It's not that I disbelieve, I'm asking the chairman if there's more that Mr. Capovelli could add to that?
I really don't think there's anything to add. I mean, that's, Alderman Durkee's welcome to his opinion on the situation, and staff made a recommendation, and so did the zoning board. So.
I think what Alderwoman Prunty is asking, though, is it correct that a larger sign than would have normally been allowed was granted when this development was first approved?
The larger sign was granted off-premise sign for the Meyer development, as well as what was supposed to go to the north of Meyer on the east side of McFarland. And that was going to be this a lifestyle center that never came to fruition. So the idea of that sign at that time was to advertise businesses that would be a part of that lifestyle center.
And you had anticipated that space being used in that way, and do you anticipate more this I can't remember the term that Alderman Durkee used.
Sign jungle.
Sign jungle, yeah. Do you anticipate more people asking for that or being able to ask for that?
Well, we do not, but there could be more lots created north of the Chase property, because between them and Bell Tire, Bell Tire is the north end of the front part of the development. So you have Bell and Chase, and then to the south of there, he is correct, Verizon has their own sign. I believe there's another sign with a gas station, and then of course McDonald's will have their sign as well, just north of that off-premise sign for Meyer. But I would anticipate that anything that would be developed to the north of Meyer's development on the east side of McFarland, they would have to take advantage of that signage that's off-premise on Perryville and Rote, and that would be the location where they would get signage for the Perryville portion. If for any reason they wanted to ask for signage on Perryville directly across from that development, then they would have to come back through to this council, and then you could make a decision at that time.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments on item 4? Seeing none, clerk, will you call the roll on this one? Yes. Aye. Legal, is it, with the roll call underway, is it too late for a motion to lay over?
Yes, I think we need to finish the vote.
So if the vote were to, well, can a motion be brought to lay it over after it's approved by committee? It can just be brought at council later tonight, right? On the 2 alderman rule.
So yes, it could be brought at council, but in retrospect, since you were the one making the motion, I suppose you could withdraw it. You could withdraw your motion if you wanted to.
Alderman Bell.
Are we out of order here in
Out of
our
order because?
process? The motion in a second, and we called the roll.
We haven't finished calling the roll, and I'm asking for clarification from legal.
Okay, just asking.
Okay. I will withdraw the motion, but I believe you seconded it, Alderwoman Tarina. So does she need to withdraw the second as well?
Oh, did I second that?
I think she did.
You did second that.
I did. For the sign? Sorry, I've been.
I'm withdrawing the motion if you'll withdraw the second.
That's fine, I'll withdraw. I'm just going to make the motion to actually lay it over, just because I don't want to say no without enough information. So I'm going to just ask that if we could try and lay it over, just so we can get more information.
I'll
So
second
I'll make the
that.
motion to lay over.
And I'll second that.
Please.
So now, can we have a roll call vote on the motion to lay this over?
Bonnie?
Aye.
Karina?
Aye.
Chauncey? Dale? Ayes.
Thank you.
Motion to lay over passes. Item 5. Item 5 is 1111 and 1115 Fifth Avenue, 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. Zoning Board of Appeals recommends approval for a special use permit for a special event space in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1111 and 1115 Fifth Avenue, 1110, 1120 Sixth Avenue. Anahi Ravi is the applicant. Is there a motion to approve? Are there any questions or comments on item 5? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Oh.
In the memo, how many parking spaces there was, it just said there should be enough. Did we actually get an actual count of what the parking was here?
Alderman Tarina, we actually are waiting for a site plan from them, but there is a large parking lot to the south. There's, it's on the aerial photographs that we have.
Yeah.
You can't see the striping, so we really can't figure it out, but just kind of an, an estimate that we believe could be there. We think it'll be adequate to handle
30.
it. Oh, it'll be more than 30.
It's more than
yeah.
that? Okay. Thank you.
That's now 2 interrupted votes in a row. Alderwoman Tarina. It's fine. Can we redo that vote? All those in favor of item 5 signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, item 6, yes, 1111 and 1115 Fifth Avenue, 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board recommends approval for the sale of liquor by the drink, Class NGL, in conjunction with a special event space in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1111 through 1115 Fifth Avenue, 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. Anahi Ruby, Daniel Palacios, Azul Ruby, Dominguez, Spider on Quinta, LLC, doing business as Spider on Quinta is the applicant, are the applicants. Is there a motion to approve item 6? I'll second. All those in favor, please signify. Are there, I'm sorry, any questions or comments on item 6? Alderman Salgado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for allowing me to speak. The 2 items, 5 and 6, I had a good conversation with the applicant. They are trying to just bring some light to this, more of a community, family-based. They are seeking the liquor license as well as part of serving some cocktails and some of the banquet. But more importantly, it's more for the community-based and doing seminars and stuff like that, since they also, their partner has a roofing company, so they're trying to figure out some workforce development there as well as some seminars there. So it's more geared towards a community-based banquet space for the community as a whole and make it more of a family perspective. That's my understanding from the family and the applicants that I had a discussion with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments on item 6? Alderwoman Tarina.
Is there gaming machines in this one?
No.
No.
Now, whenever you see the NG means no gaming. So.
Okay, I just want to make sure. I'll just ask my coworker that. Thanks. I forgot.
Any other questions or comments on item 6? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, 1060 West Riverside Boulevard, Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board recommends approval for the sale of liquor by the drink, NGL, in conjunction with a restaurant in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1060 West Riverside Boulevard Daisy DeHaro, Casa Amigos Mexican Restaurant, LLC, doing business as Casa Amigos Mexican Grill, is the applicant. Is there a motion, to approve on item number 7? I'll second. Are there any questions or comments on item 7? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And item 8, 2327 North Main Street. Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board recommends approval for the modification of an existing liquor license to add video gaming terminals to an existing restaurant in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 2327 North Main Street. Thomas Rotolo, Olympic Tavern Incorporated, doing business as Olympic Tavern, is the applicant. Is there a motion to approve? I'll second. Are there any questions or comments on item number 8? Alderman Beach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for letting me speak on your committee. Just a question. Are we still guided by the number of units that we can have and still maintain our agreement with the casino?
I believe that was part of the packet, and the numbers, I don't have that in front of me, maybe.
It is, so we're still, we're capped at 600 per the agreement with the Hard Rock. And currently, if you looked on the packets, we have 527 that have been issued. There's 50 that have not been issued, but Attorney Rubin and I will be looking over that because we think out of that 50, probably 25 are gone, and there's 25 that are still waiting. And then with this too, so technically our number right now would be at 579 total approved, or authorized, but the actual number is 527.
So. Thank you very much. How many terminals are they asking to be added?
Just 2.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Capavilla, can you elaborate on that by gone? Do you mean, I know there were some in the 14th Ward several years ago where they applied for, say, 5 and were only awarded 3, and then decided not to go forward with just 3. I believe that is a establishment that is now in the 6th Ward, but is that the sort of thing we're talking about? Gone?
Partially, yes, but we have some people that applied for these, and for some reason or another, they didn't open the business, and so there's no business that is opened, and in a couple situations, there's existing bars, and we're not exactly sure why they haven't been granted those. We'll reach out to the state and we'll find out. We do know that there was a bar in Rockford that was denied gaming by the state. So even though we had approved it, they were denied by the state. So.
And we also had that situation at the truck stop in the 1st Ward where I believe we approved the VGTs, but they needed to reestablish that they're actually a truck stop before they could be issued. Is that also in the 50?
If we're talking about the old gas station that's now a truck stop, yes. So.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments on item 8? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Or they could say, we're not going to do 7 million, we'll do 5. So. Trips. I think they're going to open up another one.
Good evening. We're to call to order the Rockford City Council Planning and Development Committee. President are myself, Dr. Alderman Turkey, Alderman, let's see, who's on our committee? Alderman Hoffman, Alderman Meeks, and Alderman Salgado. We do have a quorum. Under Roman numeral 2, committee reports, number 1 is the approval of the proposed city service and licensing agreement between City-Wise Software, LLC, and the City of Rockford to create an affordable rental housing platform hosted on a city domain. There is no cost to the city. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Is there any discussion or questions? Alderman Meeks.
Hi. Welcome back. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
So I went through the City-Wise site and just kind of checked in a couple of the locations that they currently are focused in, a lot of Wisconsin, a little bit of Ohio, I think I saw. So Ohio, Cincinnati had about 200 listings. Some of the smaller communities had like 3 listings. I just kind of want to understand, how are we going to ensure that they kind of keep up with things, keep this site something to actually look at?
Sure, that's a great question. So the developers of this software, their original product that they did was called College Pads, and they worked directly with universities to do this, to look for those smaller local rentals that were maybe more of a for rent sign in a yard but weren't listed anywhere, but they would be good opportunities for students. And they developed a model of really on the ground building relationships locally to find the local landlords and then create that listing. That product for them did well. They sold it off, and they decided to try and do the same thing with cities to, again, prioritize the local, the more regional, the people that don't necessarily have the funding to go on apartments.com or those are expensive sites to list on, but they have really valid and really great product to offer. And we want to make sure people choosing Rockford or choosing to stay in Rockford see those options as viable. So their City-Wise version, the College Pad product they had was really big, directly with University of Texas, Wisconsin, all those sorts of things. They developed it really large. That's sold off. So this one, they are just starting. So cities like, they're based out of Milwaukee, which is why you're seeing Midwest, more those cities, right? But Green Bay, Cincinnati, some of those are newer. They just started those contracts, and so now they're in the 3-year phase, which is what we're trying to initiate with them, where they're doing the work of finding those landlords, working with, like, we would have them work with the Northern Illinois Apartment Association or Rockford Real Estate Investors, those local organizations, to find out who needs a little more traction for their units and how we could get them some more publicity for what they're offering. And they verify everyone personally on the listings, which is a real issue we learned. In a lot of the larger listing sites, people will just take someone else's photos, post it, say they're the landlord, collect the deposit, and walk away. So this listing site verifies person to person, so it takes them a little bit longer to build. So Cincinnati in particular is a newer city for them. They are just in the process of starting and ramping that one up.
That's all that I have right now. Thank you.
Alderman Salgado.
I don't believe I'm not sure what was in the contract on that. I could verify that, but from what I understand, they will be making their fees from what they collect for the listings from the larger landlords, not from using this as like an email list collection type thing. There is a privacy, we can't collect data on, we will not be getting the tenant information that they connect to those sorts of things, right? There's privacies put in place for the tenants that use the service too. But I can verify that question. Sure. I will do that.
Any other questions? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Matter passes. Item 2, approval of the 2026 to 2028 funding agreement between the City of Rockford and Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful in the amount of $60,000 annually. The funding source is the redevelopment fund. Is there a motion to approve? Second? Second. Any questions? Alderman Salgado. Well, so did Alderman Beach, Salgado, and everybody. So the chair recognizes Alderman Salgado.
I defer. I didn't have my hand up. Thank you.
All right, we saw a hand. Alderman Meeks.
Thank you. So I'll be honest, I know it's just a little bit of money additional, but it's the increase to $60,000 from the original amount of $50,000. And I had this original, I spoke about this earlier with you, Mr. Wilhelmy, about the potential of, because I'm under the impression that the county supports these efforts as well. And so they have typically in the past funded this $40,000. And I think the original ask is $50,000 to the county. So I guess my hope is that we can pass something, but get a little confirmation that the county is also going to contribute to this program again and be a partner in these efforts. So I feel like we're kind of jumping the gun a little bit because they have yet to put that on their docket as well. Is there any way that we can kind of help to coordinate any of those efforts to kind of expedite the request to the county before we make this approval?
I mean, we can communicate our request to the county and what we feel they think they should do, but obviously it's going to be the county's decision ultimately.
Right. So yeah, that was just a suggestion that I wanted to make. I really wanted to see kind of mutual efforts amongst the city and the county to continue to see this organization thrive. I think they do wonderful work. I had a good conversation with the executive director, Pam Osborne, earlier, as well as Rob Wilhelmy about the work that Keep Northern Illinois Beautiful does. So I know how valuable they are to this organization and the cost savings that they allow us. You know, I am also aware that there's additional funding that makes it possible for them to do some of the work that they do. So I just thought it would be nice to make sure that the county and the city are working together. That's always a good thing. So I don't know how to go about that considering the time frame of knowing about this and where we are right now with regards to making that request. So I guess what I would ask is to lay this item over and have that conversation with the county.
You're making a motion then to lay this over?
Correct, sir.
We have a motion to lay this over until what would you like, 2 weeks?
Yes, a 2-week
layover?
I think is more than enough time to have the conversation just to see where the county is and if they're going to confirm their commitment as well to this.
Mr. Cagnoni.
Just regards to our calendar, the next regularly scheduled committee meetings is actually next week. So if I was just lay over to the next committee meeting, it would be next week. If you wanted 2 weeks to have a special committee meeting, we can do that. Or the following committee meeting in 3 weeks. We certainly can have that conversation with the county this week and report back in a week. We'd be comfortable.
I think if we could expedite that, that'd be great.
3 weeks or 1 week?
1 1 week.
1 week will be
As long as we can have the conversation and try to expedite it, I think that's the goal for me.
Mr. Wilhelmi, do you think you could have that conversation in 1 week?
I'm confident, yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, there's a motion to lay over for 1 week. Is there a second? Alderman Salgado. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the matter will be held over 1 week. All right, next is item number 3, approval of the proposed funding agreement with Northwestern Illinois Agency on Aging, which is an Illinois non-for-profit corporation, for the establishment of a senior center at 5505 East State Street. The funding source is a reallocation of unspent ARPA plan / major corridor signage funds. This is not to exceed $300,000. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? I'll second it. Are there any questions or discussion? Alderwoman Meeks.
I am having a hard time with this one, primarily because I'm just finding out this morning kind of what the remaining balance for this major corridor signage fund is, and this is the first kind of knowledge of the senior center. So it's the beginning of the year. We just kind of kick things off. I feel like I need a little bit of time to really kind of process what this ask is, kind of get a clear understanding of where the need was kind of identified. Can maybe you help me with that? Who kind of identified that we needed a senior center on the east side at this particular location?
Certainly, I'd be happy to give a little bit of background. And just for reference, 5505 East State Street is the shopping center across the street from Lino's and somewhat behind the Guitar Center on East State Street. The tenant space proposed for the senior center previously was a church, and it's sort of in the side rear space of the overall shopping center. As it relates to the need, I think there's no doubt that there's the need for a senior center within the city of Rockford. It's been raised by constituents numerous times in neighborhood meetings. I believe the city councils individually have talked about the need for a senior center. We engage in a conversation with the Northern Illinois Agency on Aging in partnership with Senator Stadelman in regards to how we might be able to establish a senior center within the city of Rockford. We had a number of conversations with Northern Illinois Agency on Aging in regards to where appropriate location would be, and I know that they had spent a significant amount of due diligence trying to find a location that worked, was on a bus route, but also was conducive with a budget that they could advance forward with a senior center. Ultimately, they landed on this location in part because the existing landlord, First Midwest Group, has given them an extremely favorable rent rate on the facility. The goal would be to relocate their offices to this location, and then also have the senior center co-locate with a long-term goal of creating a separate not-for-profit for the senior center that could operate independently, but in cooperation with the Northern Illinois Agency on Aging. Our funding proposed is at $300,000. Over a period of 3 years, with the first $100,000 being provided after the senior center is established at this location. So this would give them the opportunity to secure the lease, utilize the $250,000 that's being provided by Senator Stadelman's office on any necessary improvements on the site, and then as well as us making sure that our dollars are not going out the door until the senior center is ready to be established. We would then provide $100,000 annually for years 2 and 3, which would help cover the cost of operation of the senior center. This would also set the stage for them to go over to secure additional private funding and grants for the establishment of the senior center. So although we did not directly identify this location and had identified a number of locations throughout the city, this is the location that was ultimately determined by the Northern Illinois Agency on Aging.
Okay. what is the total amount that the Center for NIAAA is receiving outside of this request to build this senior center?
So the $250,000 is being provided by the Senator Stoltemans through the state of Illinois. Northern Illinois Agency on Aging has agreed to provide additional costs to subsidize the senior center. The estimated operational cost of the senior center is approximately $250,000.
Is there an additional $50,000 coming from Senator Stottleman on top of the $250,000?
I'm not certain if there is or if there is not.
I think I did hear that there was more funding as well. I guess my biggest concern is, yes, there has been conversation about the need for a senior center. I feel like I was under the impression that it was more on the west side of town, that need was more pronounced than on the east side of town. Is there any, can you give me any feedback on that, if that's accurate information, or we need senior?
I couldn't give you whether that's accurate or inaccurate. I don't have the data to support it one way or the other.
Right. Data's important. I'm losing my question. So the funding that is coming to this organization would cover what exactly?
It would assist in covering operational costs.
Okay, so it would cover administrative costs, staffing levels. How many staff are employed by this organization?
It's anticipated at least one, but they would also partner with other agencies is part of the plan, and then they could have additional part-time staff.
Because a lot of the funding that they utilize is in part, like they fund other organizations to do kind of a lot of the activities of this organization. So this is kind of, is this new to them, like running a senior center of this caliber, of this nature? I know they do a lot of education, a lot of information, a lot of referrals, but when it comes to running a senior center, is there experience that they have in doing something like this, putting something like this together? It's a lot of money.
So you are correct. They fund a number of other organizations throughout the greater region, including organizations that do have senior centers located with them. So they certainly are familiar with the needs of seniors. Have they run a senior center? Not that I'm aware of, and obviously this is the creation of a senior center in Rockford and Winnebago County. And they would need to hire the appropriate staff and have their staff directed in such a way to accomplish it. But understanding their historical efforts in regards to funding organizations and familiarity with the senior population, we feel comfortable that they have the wherewithal to accomplish this.
And I think my only last comment is there's a lot of senior centers that exist. There's a lot of churches. There's a lot of opportunities for seniors to gather currently. And so this is something that I do not feel like I will be approving. Just looking at where we are as a city and our budget, I just don't feel comfortable right now in this moment, in the very beginning of the year, knowing that we have a whole year ahead of us, knowing that there could be other opportunities that come before us and we might need to expend these resources to them. And we do have until, and I guess I want to verify that, do we have until the end of December to utilize these ARPA funds? December 31st, 2026, is that the date we have to spend claimed money?
So without going into great detail, there's no specific timeline on spending these funds. We did feel that, investing in a senior center was more appropriate than a major corridor sign.
I agree with that, actually. So that's all that I have to ask. Thank you so much.
Alderman Beach?
No comment.
Alderman Torino?
Thank you for allowing me to speak in committee. So the NIAA, I understand that they serve a 9-county area. Is that correct?
That is my understanding, Alderwoman.
So would this center be serving individuals outside of Rockford then, if that's the case?
I don't anticipate that they're going to be carding individuals that come to the facility on where they reside, but this is going to be a Rockford-focused senior center.
Okay. That's all I have at this time. Thank you.
Alderman Salgado?
Thank you. Thanks to Alderwoman Meeks. Question popped up in my head. The question that I have is, are they going to own the facility or are they going to lease the facility?
They're going to lease it.
Okay. And then you said that it's about $250,000 is their operational cost?
Approximately. And some of that will be, I could see it extending at a larger amount than that based on additional grants and programming that they have, but I would say at least $250,000.
So going forward, what is their plan? How are they going to get the funding for the operational going forward?
After the 3-year period, they anticipate that they'll be able to secure private funding and grant funding similar to other senior facilities in that 9-county region.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, certainly, we have the mental health as well out there fund that could help them from that perspective as well for that. So, cool. Thank you.
Any further questions? Alderman Prunty?
Thank you for allowing me to ask questions for your committee. This center, maybe, and I probably didn't read it correctly, but this center, when it becomes a nonprofit, whose center will this be? Is this, because the city is funding it, is this a city endeavor? Will this be a city service?
So this is a partnership with Northern Illinois Agency on Aging, but it's not a city senior facility. We are providing funding, but it'll be the organization's obligation to provide the services. And we've created checks and balances within the funding agreement, the first one being the establishment of the center, and then our funding agreement requires them to provide documentation on expenses associated with the city's funding.
And then, would you tell us again, what are some of the things that they could use this $300,000 for? I heard rent, but I also heard the director, and utilities and all those things, but I didn't hear how much rent was, and I didn't hear.
So we've, to your first question, Alderwoman, what the city funding can be utilized for in the most, simplest terms, operating expenses, which would include rent, which include staffing, which would include utilities, which could include, direct programming, could include, sub-agreements to bring someone in to possibly provide services. All those would be anticipated operating expenses. The rent is approximately $140,000 with the utilities, as I recall correctly, for the entire space. And it's approximately 20,000 square foot, half of which would be the senior facility, so about $70,000.
So is that $140,000 a year or $140,000 for as long as we're in?
Annually.
Annually. Has there been any consideration? I guess I'm looking at, do we have any properties that might fit their need that we own as a city?
No, we didn't feel that we had any properties that would work for this program.
What about the county?
I'm not aware of the county having any buildings that would work for this.
What about the state?
I don't know about the state. I mean, the state buildings that I'm aware of would certainly be the Zeke Georgie building downtown. I don't think that would be would work based on how it's being utilized now. Not that the location or building itself couldn't be feasible. You know, the state owns the former Singer facility, which is in no condition for anyone to use it. So I don't. That's what I know of. I'm not certain of all the other buildings the state might have. I know that they've shifted a lot to leases.
They've shifted, so the state is leasing property here in the city?
Correct.
Okay. And NIA, is it my understanding, are they part of this, arm of the state?
They're a not-for-profit.
That's an arm of the state.
I don't think I'd characterize them as an arm, but
okay.
They may get funding through the state, but they are a not-for-profit.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that clarification. I guess this really sounds like a great opportunity for seniors in our area. I guess there's something else that's coming up in your list of things that are going to be happening, and I'm concerned that the parameters are kind of wide open they can use the money for a variety of reasons, whereas later on in the agenda there are some programs that they have a very narrow focus. So I'm interested in either narrowing the focus here or broadening the focus for some of the other organizations that seek funding. And I'm done.
Any further questions? Alderman Bonnie.
I've been working with NIA on this proposal for probably a year or so, and they really did look at a lot of other locations, including at least 2 downtown. They talked with the Rockford Public Library about using the Nordloff Center space that would just be dedicated to them if they were interested, but it would be on the 2nd floor of the building. I believe looked at Hotel Kate, which is the former YWCA, but that was an awfully large building that had a lot of renovation work in it. They considered a property in Cherry Valley, where they probably would not be before the council tonight if they were locating in Cherry Valley. They very seriously looked at Rockford University across the street. And again, to Mr. Cagnoni's point about one of the deciding factors in this location was the rent break that First Midwest is offering them. They are renting it to them for 1/3 of what Rockford University wanted for space on the other side of the street. That required more more remodeling to make it suitable for NIA's purposes, and that this building, or this space rather, because of its former use as a church, is largely turnkey. They already have an auditorium. There's a lot that doesn't need. There's already a cafeteria area that doesn't need to be done. Most of the remodeling work involves the relocation of their offices to this space from not far away, by the way, so this keeps their offices near where they are currently on South Alpine. And it's my understanding that if that of the nine counties that NIA serves, we are the only county that does not have a senior center. That they would form a nonprofit that would ultimately run this senior center, similar to what takes place in the other 9 counties, and that currently, while I think Mr. Cagnoni's right, I don't think there's plans to card people at the door. Currently, other counties have been for many years, serving our senior population because we don't have one, particularly Boone County. And that the anticipation, and I don't want to speak for NIA, but I believe that the anticipation is Rockford being so large that if this is successful in this location, the plan would be to consider a opposite side of town northwest location because of the while it's on a bus route, it is not necessarily centrally located. But there were a lot of obstacles with the more centrally located locations that NIA considered. And so I think, it's a need that is, it's just a hole in services. I mean, activities for seniors who want to try to stay in their homes, who are not moving into assisted living facilities. It's very important, and senior isolation is a big problem. And I think we've been without one for an awfully long time, and I think this is a great proposal. Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Alderman Brunty.
Thank you for providing insight. And I too think it's a wonderful thing. I just was kind of I did have some things where it was like we're giving them a lot of flexibility with what they can do with the money. And I know we haven't gotten to it yet, but when we get down a little bit further, there are some other groups who ask for money and they don't, well, it's not on this one, I don't think, maybe it's on the next one. They don't have that kind of flexibility. So one would like to explore, the money will be used for blank. Or opening up the flexibility for the other groups. So that's it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Alderman Meeks.
Thank you so much. Alderman Durkee, I would like to make a request or make a motion to lay over this item for 3 weeks.
3 weeks. There's a motion to lay over for 3 weeks. Is there a second?
For procedural, I believe there's a motion and a second to approve the item. So if the legal department could provide clarification in regards.
We had a motion and a second to approve it. I mean, for discussion. So this is part of the discussion. And another motion to lay over is not out of order. Am I correct?
Thank you.
So Alderman Meeks' motion is in order. Is there a second? Alderman Salgado. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The matter will be held over for 3 weeks. Let's see. We're moving on to item number 4. Approval of the proposed development agreement between the City of Rockford and LT Construction for the 2026 Construction Workforce Development Initiative in the not to exceed amount of $700,000. The funding source is ARPA funds and is designated for youth violence prevention. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Motion second. Is there any questions or discussion? Alderman Meeks.
So much. I just want to understand with it says not to exceed in the amount of $700,000. That's just the funding that we're giving to LT Construction to execute the programming, but then there's the additional $150,000 towards the wages and equipment, supplies. So does that mean that the total amount for this program is actually $850,000?
That'd be correct.
Okay. So how does that equate? I don't know how to do that math. How does that equate with regards to kind of like what we normally do as a city for sidewalks and square footage, or the dollar amount per square footage? We kind of had this conversation earlier. I want to kind of get a clear understanding of what that difference is. And I understand why there's a difference. We talked about that too, the education of it and how important it is to do something like that. But I want to understand the actual costs.
So the amount going to LT Construction is more similar to what we would expect on a project like this that we would bid out. The additional costs for, the tools and equipment that the mentees need and their salaries, and that would be what the extra portion really is.
And do they get to keep those tools and equipment?
Yeah, they take that with them.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Alderman Bell.
Thank you, Alderman, Chairman, for allowing me to speak on your committee. Just a quick question in regards to the not to exceed amount. What happens if a change order comes before us, or we're needed to spend just a little bit more, and it surpasses this $700,000?
So we monitor this very closely, where we would just stop the program before that would happen.
Or we would come back to City Council for additional authorization, which we have done in the past. The first year we did this program, we estimated how much concrete sidewalk they would install, and they did a fantastic job and well exceeded our estimate, and we ended up coming back to City Council and asked for additional authorization. But we think we've right-sized this over the years on not only when they're going to start, when they're going to end, but the amount of sidewalk that they're going to construct during that training program.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Torino.
Thank you, sir. Can you send me a report, please, of where the sidewalks have been placed since the program has started?
Sure.
Just so I can get an idea of how many streets and where, and like the wards that they've been placed in, please.
Certainly.
Thank you very much.
Another question I saw. Alderman Salgado.
Thank you, Chairman. I think this is a great program that has transpired. I do have a question. Is there an opportunity for more participants besides LT Construction to participate in this through the Workforce Initiative? From that perspective, I think it's a wonderful thing to teach students how to work the sidewalks, the concrete work. I think it's a great program, but just wanted to see what the process is if more individuals can get engaged outside just LT Construction.
So for this particular funding request before you tonight, no, this would be in agreement with LT Construction. But as it relates to additional opportunity for training programs, if there's a interested organization, individual that wants to work with us, we'd be happy to meet with them and talk about how that opportunity could work.
Perfect, thank you.
Alderman Bell.
Sure. This is, I of course have seen this prior to being elected and sitting on this council. But I guess for myself and the other a newer alderman. Can you share with us, or at least just myself, the intention and mission or vision behind this program?
Certainly. So, trying to figure out how far to go back. When we had engaged in some consultant services when we had received ARPA funding and really identified what opportunities and specifically gaps existed within our community that we may want to focus our ARPA dollars on. One of those identified areas was workforce development and economic development. And as many of you know, that minorities were significantly underrepresented in the construction trades industry. And when you looked at the statewide statistics, it was overwhelmingly low. So not only did we want to give an opportunity for economic development with this program, community investment with the construction of sidewalks, but workforce development to have these individuals prepped and ready to go into the construction trades. And I would say that, our team, Ken and his staff, has done an excellent job of setting the table, getting this program prepped and ready to go on an annual basis. But the success comes down to LT Construction and Pastor Weathers. He creates a relationship with these individuals. He mentors them. Not only do they learn the trade of concrete, but the soft skills that go along with it, reality in the construction world and the rest of the world for that matter, and he really sets them up to succeed. I've had the privilege of going to the annual vetting of candidates that takes place, and the number of returning graduates is amazing. The stories that they share, not only the success that they have, but how do they prep for expectations once they get into the world outside of this program. So, in a very quick, brief explanation, that's what it's all about.
Thank you. And Chairman, do you mind if I keep going?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Do we have a number of how many individuals are currently in the trades from this program?
I don't have the exact number. I'm not certain if Ken does.
Yeah, 19 of, I think, 24 are still actively working in construction. So it's
in construction or in the trades?
In the trades. It may not necessarily be the concrete trade. There's been a couple that have worked in different trades. So, but yeah, still actively employed in the construction trades.
Awesome. And then just one more thing. I mean, while it's on my mind, the current funding source is the ARPA funds. After this, is hopefully approved, do we still have remaining dollars to keep this program going, or is this going to run that well dry?
There is still some ARPA dollars that would be available within this classification of funding. We also have requests into the state of Illinois, and when the deputy governor was here, when we explained what this program was, we have not received a response back. If that came back this year, we'd do whatever we could to, utilize their money before our money. But it's been such a successful program, and thank the council for the overwhelming support historically. We'll look to continue to fund this program.
Gotcha. Okay, I like you said we'd continue to support this program moving forward then.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Alderman Meeks.
Youth violence reduction. So right now in the ARPA funds remaining, so after, I just want to clarify, this was information that I received earlier from Director Haggerty. I just want to clarify that after we spend this $700,000, then the remaining balance in this youth violence reduction fund is $389,000. Okay, so it was there's $1.6 million in that fund right now prior to us approving. Is that incorrect?
Originally, there was 1.6 million. We've used these funds to pay for 2025 work under this agreement with LT Construction. So the 2 years of funding the program would take that 1.6 million down to 389,000.
And then what did we fund last year for this program again? Was it 700,000 last year as well?
675,000 last year, yes.
Thank you. And then was last year the year that we came back, or was that the year before when we came back for additional funding?
I believe it was the first year.
First year?
Yeah, because we weren't really sure how much they could get done and that. So now that we have 4 years behind us, we have a really good idea of how much they're going to be able to do.
And I just want to get that final number too for the square footage, because I don't know if we clarified that. For the work that we do as a city, I think the number that you estimated was around $11 per square foot for sidewalk.
A little bit more than that, but
It's a little bit more.
yeah,
than
like
that. And then for this particular program, what is that dollar amount?
so we base it off that similar pricing that we pay on a normal contract. And again, the additional would come in for the salaries and the tools and equipment. So
I think that's where I'm having a hard time. I need
Yeah.
to kind of understand with the additional, what does that equate to per square footage? Would that give us, because we're.
well, if you took $150,000 divided by roughly 50,000 square feet that we do with the program, you know, it's not a huge number.
So the what we pay for concrete is, in essence, similar, if not the same, of what we would otherwise pay for lineal foot of sidewalks. The additional cost is the $150,000 that we don't break down per lineal foot. We just see it as a lump sum. We could break it down by lineal foot if you wanted.
I guess I was just looking at the total $850,000 broken down. Understanding of this is what we pay when we're doing it here, and this is what we pay as we do it.
Yeah, I sort of look at it as this is a $150,000 program because the concrete and sidewalk we're getting is what we would otherwise pay.
Alderman Hoffman.
For Alderman Bell, I just want to say it was not only minorities, it was minority women who became cement workers. That's just almost unheard of. So we did have a lot of minority women who passed the class and went on to get hired.
Alderman Prunty.
Thank you so much. I just want to say that I have people who talk about this program and have been talking about this program all year. And so I'm excited to see it continue. Thank you.
Alderman Salgado.
Yeah, sorry to keep coming up with other questions. Prioritization of the 50,000 square feet of sidewalk, how is that determined? And, you know, say, for example, if I wanted my ward to kind of tackle and go after those dollars, how do I get in line for that?
So the location for this year has not been identified, but what our team does is looks at the overall sidewalk program and tries to equally distribute that, understanding that we've had a focus on schools and playgrounds or parks. But if you have locations that should be evaluated, we most certainly would want them. We also get just citizens' complaints that are also taken as part of the process. I would say that if you look at the historical last 4 years, we've been all over the city with this program with huge success, no matter what neighborhood it goes into, where we get compliments from the individuals that may live on the street to see the program in front of their yard. Just a number of different compliments we've seen. I will say that we do need to be recognized that, you know, not all sidewalk locations might be conducive for this program. These are individuals that have never laid concrete before, so we have to be a little conscious in regards to where we start them off, because, you know, we've started them off some pretty hard sidewalks in the past, and we want to make sure that we get them rolling in a positive way. So we'll work with Pastor Weathers and our own team, and certainly any input that you guys have on locations.
Alderman Bell.
I promised just one more. Really quick, we see, you know, the proposal is for $700,000. It was stated that the project is, though, $850,000. So I just want to know where the remainder, $150,000, is going to be coming from.
It's all coming from, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions or discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed? Matter passes. Move to number 5, approval of the proposed development agreement with Rockford Brake Manufacturing at 302 Peoples Avenue in the amount of $250,000. The funding source is 2025 and 2026 casino economic development funds. Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion and it's approved. Any questions or discussion? Alderman Meeks.
Thank you so much. So I was at the event where they rolled out this program, and it was so wonderful, and everyone was there, and I thought it was a great event. I did hear while I was there, I spoke to one of the, I don't know if he's an engineer or someone, that mentioned that there was a issue with kind of like pollution is kind of what how I want to describe it. Runoff, just carbon and just things going into our water supply. And maybe not our water supply, but our river, stormwater runoff. And I'm under the impression that there's something that this company can do to rectify that, and that they have meetings either scheduled or going to meet or have already met to kind of clarify that this will be taken care of. Is there any way that we can get confirmation that whatever that is taking place is taken care of prior to us funding $250,000 to this business?
So I'm not certain what the issue may be. I can tell you, you know, what I do know of the site, that we did have a stormwater runoff situation with the previous owner of the property. Obviously, the property has since changed hands, and we are in communications with the existing ownership for proper protocol related to stormwater runoff. So if that is the issue, it is being taken care of and handled. If there's another issue,
I think that's the issue.
Okay, then that is being taken care of.
So can you help me understand how that's being taken care of?
By providing them what they can and can't do in proper management of their stormwater runoff.
Because I was understood that they took some temporary solutions with regards to like inlets and filters and stormwater, but those things need to be maintained and changed often. So is there a plan in place for them to make those changes, and when did they install them? I just want to kind of get a clear understanding that they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing.
So, Alderwoman, I believe those would be all accurate statements, but I don't have the specifics related to all those matters to be able to tell you all those timeframes. I can, assure you that our team will follow up, so that they're in compliance with our stormwater ordinance and stormwater runoff requirements to make sure that they're in compliance.
I would appreciate that. I think for me, I would appreciate knowing that prior to funding them $250,000. Not that I don't want to, but that's just my thought. That's important for our whole community that, they do the right So that was just my comment. Thank you so much.
Any further questions? You can make any motions you'd like.
I know I keep asking, and I don't need to ask. I would like to make a motion to lay this item over. And this one, I think, just to get that information would be another 1 week layover, not a 3-week layover.
Motion to lay this item over for 1 week. Is there a second? Second.
Would there be, this is a time-sensitive situation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't ask that question, and I meant to ask that.
You know, the nature of this funding is to assist in operational expenses, understanding the cash flow challenges of starting up a new business. They had anticipated that they would be able to secure significant loan through the SBA and potentially leveraging those funds with the state of Illinois Advantage program. However, that has not progressed at the time frame that they thought that it would progress. So they have been working to secure a line of credit from a local bank and go through that process. I'm not suggesting that a week delay will stop it. I don't know, you know, how dire the cash flow situation is, but if it is going to be laid over, we'd ask if we could potentially have a special city council meeting to advance it, because I do know that making, you know, their operating expenses is tight right now.
I can respect that. Like the points that I mentioned prior with regards to the cleanup, the runoff, and all of those things, I just want to make sure that that is all solidified before we move forward. So I understand where you're coming from. I still stand by my layover.
Yeah, I'm not objecting to your layover. I just want to make sure I'm providing all the information.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, any discussion on Alderman Meek's motion? All those in favor, aye? Aye. And opposed, I oppose. Next, this is the item number 5. Oh, no, it's item number 6. Approval of the proposed development agreement with Urban Equity Properties for the rehabilitation of 99 East State Street as News Tower Lofts for mixed-use residential commercial development. This funding source is the redevelopment funds and TIF funds. Is there a motion to approve? Okay, we have a motion and approve. Is there any questions or discussion? Alderman Prunty.
Thank you again. I got a few calls regarding this particular proposal, and it had to do with, I think there's going to be an additional 80 or so units. And the question, I guess my question is, what is the parking situation like for this facility, residential parking?
So there's on-site parking that would be available for both the tenant spaces and the commercial spaces. And should they need additional parking spaces for their tenants, we'd be able to accommodate that in public parking spaces. I would also note that the developer owns several parking lots in the general area that they would also be able to utilize should they choose not to utilize our public parking system.
So our public parking spaces, though, that would be, it's not residential. It's nothing that they could rent or lease. Just anybody, first come, first serve, whoever can.
They could lease parking spaces.
The public ones?
Yeah.
And is that like permit? Do you mean, when you say that, do you mean they have a permit and then again it's kind of first come, first served, or it's I own this while I'm renting or leasing it?
So for our public, the way our public parking system works, there's a couple of different ways that they could do it. They could get a monthly pass to one of our parking lots or decks, or they could get a residential parking permit that allows them to park in a number of different areas as well. Sometimes that's a less costly option. We don't, in our parking system, we don't designate that's your parking space. But we do make sure that we don't overbook a parking lot with too many permits that it can't accommodate the amount of spaces that we need.
So, and approximately how many spaces do you think these luxury places might need? I said it was 80, but maybe it's not 80, it's 40 or so. I forgot what the number was. How many do they anticipate?
It wouldn't be unreasonable that it would be 80 spaces or no more than 80 spaces on their for their development. I mean, our zoning ordinance says 1.5 for a multi-unit, but we don't have a parking requirement in the downtown area, recognizing that 1.5 space for a multifamily is not typically needed downtown, and understanding that we have thousands of spaces downtown, we don't have a parking requirement.
And are those extra spaces, or those spaces that they could possibly lease or be permitted, are they proximity-wise? Are they fairly close, or am I going to have to?
Some of both. I mean, we have an entire system downtown, so there's not a parking deck on this side of the river. Our parking decks are on the west side, but we do have public parking lots in close proximity, in addition to the private lot that's on the property that's being redeveloped.
I just think if I'm living downtown, like I would need something different, because I'm not. I could be there all day, whereas in certain parts you can park an hour, you can park 2 hours. I'm just concerned. That's one of the calls that I received. I was just concerned, have we thought the parking situation through for the number of residential developments that are coming, and then to even accommodate the people who are here right now?
Absolutely. Yes, there's adequate parking to support the development.
To support the development. Is there adequate parking to support the development that's already here, the residentials?
Yes.
I think I would like to look at that again, because I've had some complaints about some of the parking for residential in the downtown area. I'd like to hear what those numbers are, and hear what the commercial or the public, and then what the residential could be at some point.
We'd be happy to share that information.
Okay.
It'd also be, what the, as we build that information out for you, what the specific concern is, so we can answer the question, globally to your question, but then specifically as well, if someone has a parking need in an existing unit, what might be options for them to accommodate that.
Then I guess I want to take it a step further as we talk about capacity, residential versus commercial. I'd like to even be able to hear the ADA numbers as well. Okay. Do we have enough handicap parking in our space downtown? Thank you.
Alderman Bell.
Oh, thank you, Chairman, for allowing me to speak on your committee. Being not only a resident, but also one of the two or three aldermen who cover the downtown area, I'd like to speak on one of the points that the Sixth Ward Alderwoman stated. I would say, and I'd have to agree with other residents that live in the downtown area, that the burden is the cost, not the availability of spaces for the residents in the downtown area. I would speak to and second the city administrator's statement of there being adequate parking for residents in the downtown area. Whether you have ice hogs or an event at the Coronado or both at the same time on top of City Market, there's plenty of parking. I think we can do more to bring, and should do more to bring individuals into the downtown area. So I don't think that there'd necessarily be a burden on availability. I would just say that maybe we should look at the cost for attracting residents to move to the downtown area. But that's all I had. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Alderman Torino.
Thank you. I remember when this was under past ownership, we had a pretty extensive discussion. It was like a parking, we did a special use permit for like a parking circle in the front. And I saw the renderings had that same kind of setup, but is that permit still applicable for this new development?
I don't specifically recall the approval of the special use permit. There's a time window for a special use permit. I'm not certain whether that's lapsed or not. I don't think it has lapsed yet, but the intention is for the developer to utilize the similar plan for access on State Street.
Okay, that was my only question about this. Thank you.
Alderman Bonney.
Thank you. Just to clarify, I believe it was for an additional curb cut at the foot of the State Street Bridge. There was a lot of conversation on it, but I was the only alderman to oppose that. That's why I remember it.
Any further? Alderman Meeks.
Thank you so much. I just want to get some understanding. Under, it says B, the location of the project, and it says note that these areas all presumably will have to qualify as blighted. So is this considered a high priority area?
Yes, under our TIF policy.
Under our policy it is.
Yep.
And who would they have to qualify as blighted to?
So I believe you're referencing the TIF scoring ranking system within the staff report. Correct. So the TIF policy and ranking system was created by a citizen-led task force and then ultimately approved by City Council, and that identified the central area or blight and historic preservation to a number of the identifiers within the scoring system. So when the proposal comes forward, staff reviews it and makes that determination, or I should say a recommendation on what we believe the scoring should be.
So how do you describe what is a high priority area?
If I recall correctly, high priority areas, Central City, broadly defined. Central City would encompass most of the areas that were developed by the 1950s. Census tracts with high unemployment, census tracts with low median income, and riverfront. Those are
all of those apply to this particular, I guess, yeah. I think I was looking for those areas to be highlighted. I don't know why, because I saw it was highlighted in the renovation. To get the 75 points, I assume that it would need to be highlighted there as well. Okay, interesting. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Any further questions? I just have an interesting comment. When I started as an alderman, which was a while ago, certainly not when Alderman Beach started, but I think we're the longest guys here, but you beat me by a lot. When I started, it's funny to hear the questions about parking. Because when I started, you could park any number of semis downtown and not have a problem. So this is an outstanding turn of events. The Rockford Register Star Tower is like an icon downtown. Cannot decay. Neither can our downtown. Downtown Rockford is where we sort of meet ourselves. City center. It's arts, it's music, it's craft food, it's all that stuff. And we used to talk about new urbanism. It's kind of an old term, but it really was how we were viewing downtown. We had a lot of inertia that was happening before COVID, and we're starting to see that come back downtown. And to see somebody stepping up to take on this project is outstanding, because it's a difficult project, it's a costly one, but it's an important one. You cannot have a building such as this decay downtown. People will ask, we're giving the developers some money, and the residents are going to ask, what do we get in return? We're basically owning part of this building. What do they get? Well, they get another piece of the puzzle to a vibrant downtown. And so this, among other projects, are stepping stones. They're building blocks to pieces that help with that. So I'm glad to see this happen. I'm glad that we're complaining about parking. That is a good problem to complain about, because as our population grows 24/7, as hopefully our entertainment and arts grow, we return that vibrancy that downtown once had, and it deserves. Our city, our residents deserve a vibrant downtown. So with that, is all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Matter carries. Next, along the same lines, approval of a proposed amendment to the development agreement with Oliver Emerson Development, also known as Oliver Emerson Development, LLC, for the rehabilitation and adaptive reuse of 325 South Madison Street, also known as the Watch Factory, as residential. The funding source is going to be the redevelopment fund and TIF funds. Is there a motion to approve? A second. We have a motion, a second to approve. Is there any discussion or questions? Alderman Prunty.
Same kind of question as it relates to parking. Is it my understanding that this development comes that with parking, adequate parking for its facility, and may not need to rely on municipal parking?
So that is correct. There's 29 parking spaces that are on site. That will be part of the land transferred to the developer. And then there's additional on-street parking immediately in front of the building on South Madison Street that'll be dedicated to the development.
It's dedicated to the development, so it's not like it's public parking, but it is for the development.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Matter passes. All right, number 5, approval of a proposed amendment to the development agreement with First Midwest Group, also doing business as McChesney Investments, LLC, and McDonald's for the establishment of McDonald's at 4103 West State Street in the amount of $200,000. The funding source is the 2025 Casino Plan funds and the Economic Development High-Risk Area funds.
Chairman, we do have a request from First Midwest Group to lay the item over.
Okay, without objection. All right. Last, under Roman numeral 3, Resolution 1, approval of the 2026 Regrow Grant Program. Is there a motion to approve? Second? Is there a second? Seeing no second. Any other further business before City Council? Is there a motion to adjourn? Second. All those in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Call the Finance and Personnel meeting on January 5th, 2026 to order. In attendance, we have Alderman Granith and Alderman Beach. Clerk, do you need to call the roll or no? Okay. Here. Thank you. First item is information only change order citywide street repairs group number 3 to TCI Concrete Incorporated of Rockford, Illinois. Any information that we want to share on that, Mr. Mattson?
Nope, just a few additional items that came up during the contract that we were able to complete.
Any questions for administration? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 2, information only change order, well number 40, well house improvements to Scandrolli Construction of Rockford, Illinois, an amended amount of $740,969.21. Any questions for the water superintendent? Any comments by the water superintendent? Okay.
No,
Sounds
no
good.
additional comments.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll move on to committee reports, item number 3. Or agenda item number 3. Number 1, we have approval of vouchers in the amount of $20,640,223.53. Is there a motion on the floor? Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Clerk, could you please call the roll? Aye. Item passes. Item number 2, approval of the collaborative agreement between the City of Rockford Human Services Department and Rosecrans Incorporated. The provisions of this agreement are based on services to children and families enrolled in and served through the Head Start program and include the provision of a full-time school-based counselor funded with quality improvement funds for the period of October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026 in the amount of $96,537.28. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, could you please call the roll? Aye. Item passes. Moving on to item number 3, approval of the collaborative agreement between the City of Rockford Health and Human Services Department and Youth Services Network. The provisions of this agreement are based on services to children and families enrolled in and served through the Head Start program and include the provision of a full-time trauma specialist to support early Head Start children and families funded with the quality improvement funds for the period of October 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2026 in the amount of $90,220.00. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Item passes. Moving on to item number 4, approval of the Head Start staff incentive policy for the City of Rockford Health and Human Services Department, Head Start, Early Head Start Division. Is there a motion on the floor? Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Measure passes. Item number 5, approval of the lease agreement with Comprehensive Community Solutions Incorporated of Rockford, Illinois for one office unit located at 917 South Main Street, Rockford, Illinois at a rate of $450 per month for a total not to exceed a cost of $4,050 for the 9-month lease term, January 1st, 26 to September 30th, 26. The funding source is the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, fiscal year 2022 Strategies to Support Children Exposed to Violence Grant. No city match is required. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye. Matter passes. Moving on to item number 6, approval for the addition of the city-owned property located at 2022 Auburn Street to the city's Mow-to-Own program. The property will be part of a Mow-to-Own agreement between the city and the adjacent property owner, Janet Waddles Center. Is there a motion on the floor? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Moving on to resolutions, agenda item 4. Number one, the approval and acceptance of Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity LIHEAP HHS grant award in the amount of $2,896,554. The grant does not require a cost match. The grant term is from October 1st, 25 to August 31st, 27. The grant will provide funds used for approved clients' electric and or heating bills, energy usage, education, staff training, payroll, and administrative costs. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Item number two, a contract renewal, medical stop-loss insurance 2026 to Tokyo Marine HCC Insurance of Houston, Texas, for the following contract amount rates of $42.90 per employee per month for single enrollment and $156.72 per employee per month for family enrollment. This is a, now note here, 43% increase. There was a Scribner's error, so it's a 43% increase as compared to 2025. The total estimated annual premium is $1,789,020, based on the current number of funding health insurance participants. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the health insurance fund. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Item passes. Item number three, contract renewal, Pharmacy Benefit Manager 2026 for prescription drug coverage for the City of Rockford PPO Health Insurance Plan to Express Scripts Incorporated of St. Louis, Missouri for the following contract amount rates. Expenses are based on the average wholesale price, less a discount. Retail cost of brand name drugs will be AWP less 19.5%. Generic drugs will be AWP less 83%. Greater discounts will be applied for the mail order. These new rates represent approximately $667,000 in savings. The total estimated cost is $7 million. The contract duration is 1 year with 2 additional 1-year renewal options. The funding source is the health insurance fund. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Item number four, contract renewal, Workers' Compensation Excess Coverage 2026 to Safety National Casualty Corporation of St. Louis, Missouri for the following contract amount rates. Premium is based on the estimated annual payroll of $87,789,490 at 25.78 cents per $100 of payroll for a total estimated annual premium of $226,321. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the Workers' Compensation Fund. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Item number five, award of joint purchasing contract infrastructure software to Insight Public Sector of Tempe, Arizona in the amount of $118,901.76. The contract duration is 1 year with 3 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the Information Technology and Integration Operating Budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Item number 6, award of joint purchasing contract, policy training, consultation, update, reporting, and delivery services to Lexipol LLC of Frisco, Texas in the amount of $52,254.50. The contract duration is 1 year with 1 possible 1-year extension option. The funding source is the Fire Department operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Item number 7, award of bid, Fire Department Station Ware to Uniform Den of Loves Park, Illinois, in the estimated amount of $60,000. The contract duration is 1 year with 4 possible 1-year extension options. Annual price adjustments for CPI considered at contract renewal only. The funding source is the Fire Department operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Alderman Beach.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just from my own understanding, when these extensions, possible 1 year, possible 2 and 3, does that mean they do not come back to this council? Once we pass it tonight, it just goes on by itself. Is that correct?
Director Hagerty? Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Item number 8,
Award of bid, garage commercial labor, light medium to Anderson Rock River Ford, Boves Auto and Truck Service, Butita Auto, all of Rockford, Illinois, and Brad Manning Ford of DeKalb, in the estimated annual amount of $250,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026, with 4 possible one-year extension options. Annual price adjustments for CPI considered at contract renewal only. The funding source is the equipment fund. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Item number 9, award of non-competitive contract. John Deere Equipment, Parts, and Services to Westside Tractor Company of Rockford, Illinois, in the annual amount of $100,000 based on unit pricing. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026, with 2 possible one-year extension options. The funding source is the equipment fund operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item passes. Item number 10, award of non-competitive contract. Heavy-duty truck repair services and parts to Lakeside International of Rockford, Illinois, and the estimated amount of $95,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026, with 2 possible one-year extension options. The funding source is the equipment fund operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? Item carries. Item number 11. Award of non-competitive contract, traffic signal electronic equipment to Mobotrex Mobility and Traffic Experts of Davenport, Iowa, in the estimated annual amount of $300,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026, with 2 possible one-year extension options. The funding source is the traffic section operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 12. Award of non-competitive contract. Southeast Rockford Superfund Site groundwater monitoring to Nationwide Environmental Services of Wheat Ridge, Colorado, in the estimated annual amount of $100,750. The contract duration is 1 year with 4 possible one-year extension options. The funding source is the Water Fund operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 13, award of non-competitive contract infrastructure scheduling software to JAM Software LLC of Middletown, Delaware, in the amount of $27,599. The contract duration is 1 year with 3 possible one-year extension options. The funding source is the Information Technology and Integration Operating Budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? Item carries. Item number 14, award of non-competitive contract, ESRI software products to Environmental Systems Research Institute Incorporated of Redlands, California, in the amount of $290,300. The contract duration is 1 year with 2 possible one-year extension options. The funding source is the Information Technology and Integration Operating Budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 15. Award of bid, lead service line replacement phase 9 to NTRAC Group of Loves Park, Illinois, in the not to exceed amount of $2 million. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the IEPA State Revolving Loan Fund. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Yes, Alderman Salgado.
Just real quick, Jamie. So NTRAC, $2 million for phase 9 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Are they outsourcing subcontracting to other subcontractors, or is it strictly just NTRAC?
I do not believe that they had provided a subcontractor list, so I believe...
But they are going to use potentially subcontractors, or is it just strictly...
As far as I'm aware, they're using their own employees.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 16, the award of bid lead service line replacement phase 10 to NTRAC Group of Loves Park, Illinois, in the not to exceed amount of $2 million. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the IEPA State Revolving Loan Fund. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 17, award of bid granular activated carbon replacement to Calgren Carbon Corporation of Moon Township, Pennsylvania, in the estimated annual amount of $150,000. The contract duration is 1 year with 4 possible 1-year extension options. The funding service is the water operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 18, award of engineering agreement, well number 6, reservoir rehabilitation to Fairgram Engineering of Rockford, Illinois, in the amount of $29,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026. The funding source is the Water Fund operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 19, award of professional services, water division cost of service rate study to Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company, Incorporated of Downers Grove, Illinois, in the not to exceed amount of $61,189. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the Water Fund operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 20, the award of RFP submersible pump services to Lane Christensen Company of Aurora, Illinois, and Water Well Solutions of Elburn, Illinois, in the estimated annual amount of $1 million. The contract duration is 1 year with 4 possible 1-year extension options. Annual price adjustments for CPI considered at contract renewal only. The funding source is the Water Fund operating budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 21, approval to take proposals for permit and code enforcement software. The funding source will be the Community and Economic Development budget. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 22, authorization for matching funds in the amount of $200,000 in partnership with the Rockford Area Venue and Entertainment Authority for a Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Tourism Attraction Grant. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 23, funding reimbursement for sidewalks on Linden Road in conjunction with the Crusader Community Health Expansion in the amount of $50,000. The funding source is the 2025 Casino Funds and Economic Development. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Alderman Durkee.
Yeah, the world record for reading in 33 items is 5 minutes and 32
Going
seconds.
fast.
I didn't want you to break. I think you needed a breath. It's just a curiosity question. It's a $16 million project. I know it's kind of small, but why are we paying $50,000 for a sidewalk that they're probably required to install as part of their building? Just out of curiosity.
So you are correct, Alderman. They would be required to install the sidewalk should this not be approved. As part of our economic development activities, we agreed to advance this forward for City Council with our support.
So we're just doing it as a favor kind of thing?
I don't necessarily I'd call it a favor. They did ask for financial assistance, understanding the costs have gone up on their overall construction project and the services that are provided to the community, so we felt there was an overall benefit.
They pay taxes on their land?
I'm not positive
I
to
don't
answer
think
that
so.
question.
Thanks.
Yes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Item number 23, funding reimbursement for sidewalks on Linden Road in conjunction with Crusader Community Health Expansion in the amount of $50,000. The funding source is the 2025 Casino Funds Economic Development. Is there a motion on the floor? Oh, I forgot to mark that off. Sorry. I was on a roll. Item number 24, funding reimbursement for sidewalks and bus stop on Alpine and Linden Road in conjunction with PCI Pharma Services expansion in the amount of up to $250,000. The funding source is the 2025 Casino Funds Economic Development. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Alderwoman Meeks.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak on your committee. Has this always been the dollar amount, $250,000? I feel like I recall a $50,000 proposal. Am I making that up? Always been 250?
Not 50,000. I mean, there were some original estimates that I had with them that was a lower amount, and then the actual sidewalk construction is a higher amount.
Did we not approve something for PCI in recent months?
I believe you're referencing the new construction that they did on Linden Road east of Alpine. This is an additional investment by PCI for a new construction building on the west side of Alpine Road, south of Linden. So this is one of our larger job producers in the city, and they have just been growing and growing. So this is, yes, you are correct. There was a previous.
I just wanted to clarify because I remember seeing PCI just not too long ago. Thank you so much.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. And the final item, number 25, change order firewall replacement and IT support to Sayers Technology Services, LLC of Vernon Hills, Illinois. The amended amount is $354,422.55. The change order extends support scope to include Microsoft Office 365 deployment consultation. Is there a motion on the floor? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a motion and a second. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. We will call to order the City of Rockford's regularly scheduled City Council meeting for Monday, January 5th, 2026. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Durkee. Here. Logeman. Here. Torina. Here. Hoffman. Here. Granith. Here. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Here. Bell. Present. Bonnie. Here. 9 present.
Excellent. Is there a motion to approve the Journal of Proceedings for the City Council meeting held on November 3rd, 2025? So we have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Excellent. Next, we'll go to petitions and communications, and we'll begin with Planning and Development Committee and Alderman Durkee.
Thank you, Your Honor. Under Roman numeral 2A, Planning and Development Committee, a memorandum from Todd Cagnoni, the City Administrator, regarding a proposed agreement between the City of Rockford and Rockford Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, also known as Go Rockford, for the Made for Rockford program. This was referred to Planning and Development Committee.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Code and Regulation Committee. Alderman Bonnie.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 3 items, all being referred to Code and Regulation Committee. Item 1 is a memorandum from Scott Capavilla, Planning and Zoning Manager, regarding plat number 6 of Green Estates subdivision. Item 2 is memorandum from Scott Capavilla, Planning and Zoning Manager, regarding plat number 2 of Ardmore subdivision. And item 3 is a memorandum from Martin Bloom regarding the 2026 Forward for Fun initiative.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to Finance and Personnel Committee and Alderman Logeman.
We only have one item, memorandum from Andrea Heinrichs, Housing and Program Manager, regarding approval and acceptance of additional funds from the Illinois Housing Development Authority Homeowner Assistance Fund Home Repair Program. Refer to the Finance and Personnel Committee.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to new committee reports and Planning and Development Committee, and back to Alderman Durkee.
Thank you, Your Honor. We'll change to the agenda on Roman numeral 3A. Up for passage will be items 1, 4, and 6, and 7. Okay, the others were laid over. Item number 1, approval of the proposed city service and licensing agreement between Citywise Software, LLC, and the City of Rockford to create an affordable rental housing platform hosted on a city domain. There will be no cost to the city. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Then down to number 4, approval of the proposed development agreement between the City of Rockford and LT Construction for the 2026 Construction Workforce Development Initiative in the not-to-exceed amount of $700,000. The funding source is ARPA funds designated for youth violence prevention. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Number 6, approval of the proposed development agreement with Urban Equity Properties for the rehabilitation of 99 East State Street, also known as the Rockford Register Star News Tower, for mixed-use residential and commercial development. The funding source is the redevelopment fund and TIF funds. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Number 7, approval of the proposed amendment to the development agreement with Oliver Emerson Development for the rehabilitation and adaptive reuse of 325 South Madison Street, also known as the Watch Factory, as residential. The funding source is redevelopment funds and TIF funds. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. These are up for passage.
Thank you. Clerk, could you just note that Alderman Beach is present? And then, Council, we have items 1, 4, 6, and 7 before you. Is there any discussion on any of those 4 items? Alderwoman Meeks.
No discussion, but I would like to lay over item 6 and item 7.
We have a motion and a second to lay over items 6 and 7. They've been laid over. We've narrowed these items down pretty successfully. We now have 2 remaining, items 1 and 4. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee. Aye. Lugeman. Aye. Serena. Granith. Beach. Salgado. Meeks.
Aye.
Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
And you may have missed Alderwoman Hoffman.
Oh, I didn't see her. I'm so sorry.
She was jumping up and down. She was excited. She wants to vote on these 2 items.
So bad.
Alderman Hoffman. Item number 1 is 10 ayes, 1 no. Item 4 is 11 ayes, 11 ayes.
Excellent. Next, we'll go to Code and Regulation Committee. Alderman Bonnie.
Thank you, Mayor. We have item 1 is approval of the 2025-2026 contract between the City of Rockford and the Winnebago County Health Department for a tobacco enforcement program to conduct compliance checks. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Item 2, 32XX Searles Avenue. Zoning Board of Appeals recommends approval for zoning map amendment from R3 multifamily residential zoning to R1 single-family residential zoning at 32XX Searles Avenue. Melanie Ladig and Gary Hafferty are the applicants. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Item 3, 6783 and 6819 Fincham Drive and 886 and 891 Whitechapel Lane. Zoning Board of Appeals recommends approval for a zoning map amendment from C2 Limited Commercial Zoning District to R2 Two-Family Residential Zoning District at 6783 and 6819 Fincham Drive and 886 and 891 Whitechapel Lane. LAS Management is the applicant. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. 1111 and 1115 Fifth Avenue and 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. The Zoning Board of Appeals recommends approval for a special use permit for a special event space in a C2 Limited Commercial Zoning District at 1111 and 1115 Fifth Avenue, 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. Anahi Ruby is the applicant. Legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Item 6, same addresses, 1111 and 1115 Fifth Avenue, 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board recommends approval for the sale of liquor by the drink, Class NGL, in conjunction with the special event space in a C2 Limited Commercial Zoning District at 1111 and 1115 Fifth Avenue and 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. Anahi Ruby, Daniel Palacios, Azul, Ruby Dominguez, Spider on Quinta LLC doing business as Spider on Quinta are the applicants. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Item 7, 1060 West Riverside Boulevard, Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board recommends approval of the sale of liquor by The Drink, NGL, in conjunction with the restaurant in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1060 West Riverside Boulevard. Daisy DeHaro, Casa Amigos Mexican Grill, LLC, doing business as Casa Amigos Mexican Grill, is the applicant. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. And item 8, 2327 North Main Street, Liquor and Tobacco Advisory Board recommends approval for the modification of an existing liquor license to add video gaming terminals to an existing restaurant in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 2327 North Main Street. Thomas Rotolo, Olympic Tavern Incorporated, doing business as the Olympic Tavern, is the applicant. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance.
Thank you. So item 4 was laid over, so we have items 1 through 3 and 5 through 8 before you. Is there any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee. Aye. Logeman.
No on 3A and remainder.
Terina. Hoffman. Granith. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell.
Aye.
Bonnie.
Aye.
Items 1, 2, 10 ayes. Item 3, 9 ayes, 1 no. Items 5, 10 ayes. 6 and 7, 9 ayes, 1 no. And item 8, 10 ayes.
Excellent. Next, we'll go to Finance and Personnel Committee. Alderman Logeman.
We have 6 items. Item number 1, approval of vouchers in the amount of $20,640,223.52. Item number 2, approval of the collaborative agreement between the City of Rockford Human Services Department and Roscoe and Rosecrans Incorporated. The provisions of this agreement are based on services of children and families enrolled in and served through the Head Start program and include the provision of a full-time school-based counselor funded through quality improvement funds for the period of October 125 through September 30th, 2026 in the amount of $96,537.28. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Item number 3, the approval of collaborative agreement between the City of Rockford Health and Human Services Department and the Youth Services Network. The provisions of this agreement are based on services to children and families enrolled in and served through the Head Start program and include the provision of a full-time trauma specialist to support early Head Start children and families funded with quality improvement funds for the period of October 125 through September 30 of 2026 in the amount of $90,220. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Item number 4, the approval of Head Start staff incentive policy for the City of Rockford Health and Human Services Department. Head Start, Early Head Start Division, the legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Item number 5, approval for the addition of a city-owned property located at 2022 Auburn Street to the city's Mow-to-Own program. The property will be part of the Mow-to-Own agreement between the city and the adjacent property owner, Janet Waddles Center. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. And finally, item number 6, the approval of a lease agreement with Comprehensive Community Solutions Incorporated of Rockford, Illinois for one office unit located at 917 South Main Street, Rockford, Illinois, at a rate of $450 per month for a total not to exceed cost of $4,050 for a 9-month lease term, January 126 to September 30, 2026. The funding source is the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, fiscal year 22, strategies to support children exposed to violence crime. No city match is required. The legal director shall prepare the appropriate ordinance. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Council, 6 items before you. Any discussion on those 6 items? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
Aye.
Logeman.
Aye.
Terina. Aye. Hoffman.
Aye.
Granith. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. 10 ayes.
Next, we have officers' reports. Any council members with any reports? Alderman Salgado.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be brief. Just want to remind folks, January 7th, AutoZone on Harrison and 11th Street, they're doing their grand opening ceremony at 11 o'clock. For those that want to attend, you're more than welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other reports? Alderwoman Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to remind everyone that on the 13th, which is next Tuesday. Rolling Green will again be having its meeting, and I believe Scott will be speaking, and either Sarah will be speaking or a representative.
Thank you.
So it will be a great meeting. Thank you.
Alderman Bonnie?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. I just didn't speak on it at committee, but I wanted to express my support for the items that were laid over for the funding agreements for the Watch Factory and the News Tower, and echo, I think, Chairman Durkee's comments during the committee meeting. I think we need to treat our historic properties as if they were infrastructure, and they deserve to be preserved because they can't be replaced. And I think that's true for both of these two items, but particularly for the news tower, which is next to Symbol, probably the most recognizable building in our city's landscape, skyline, to the extent that we have one. And when people look for images of Rockford, they end up usually grabbing one of those two images. It is also extremely culturally significant because of the work that occurred there for decades. You know, it is probably every mayor since the building was built has walked through the building, most governors, U.S. senators. It is, and it's very construction by a woman publisher in a day when I'm sure there weren't many. It is unquestionably architecturally significant, culturally significant, and its, you know, location on the riverfront at the foot of the State Street Bridge. You know, it's pivotal for downtown. It would be a shame to have this building not be saved, and you know, I hope that the layovers don't indicate that this is going to go the way of the Elks Club, and which is probably going to be a pile of rubble soon by the time we vote on the two items that we just laid over. And I think it's, you know, it's important. I think they're all important. News Tower is very important, but, you know, we have some great wins in preservation, and the News Tower is poised, I think, to be another towering achievement in redevelopment, along with the Embassy Suites and the Coronado Theater and this building more than 25 years ago now. But, you know, we need to reach that critical mass where, you know, we don't have just these isolated success stories, but we have a downtown that is a mix of preserved preserved history and, you know, interesting new architecture like the new library, which is a great also addition to our skyline. And I just think we need to, you know, we can't save every old building in town, but I think, you know, they are irreplaceable. Once they're gone, and we need to look at these as part of our infrastructure. And I hope that when these come back, they're going to be met with passage. Thank you.
Thank you. Other reports? I would just add a sincere thank you, and don't want to say congratulations, but can't think of the best word, but Chief Fred, you had a big week last week, swore in 12 new recruits, had numerous promotions, including Keenan Davis to ADC, which is exciting, and then also Big thank you to you, your leadership team, and all the members of the police department. Lowest number of homicides we've seen in our city since 2004. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the council for their incredible investments in public safety, as well as all of the community, from everyday Rockford residents to amazing organizations that are helping. We have a long way to go, but it was a promising year, so just want to say thank you. We have appointments that are all laid over until the 14th. You have 2 additional appointments on your desk. One is Chris Geddes. Another is Tim Bragg, both to the ZBA and LTAB boards. Then we'll move to motions and resolutions. Oh, I'm so sorry. Alderman Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. Wanted to just touch on the appointments really quick, seeing a lot of familiar faces, or names at least, on this list. Is there any way that the city could maybe post on social media that we are seeking recommendations for appointments? I know council has the ability to recommend to the administration, but would love to make it a more public process as to recruiting individuals to serve on these commissions.
Absolutely. We can certainly do that. Thank you. Any other reports or comments? Alderwoman Meeks.
I would just like to ask, for some of the individuals that are sitting on some of the boards and commissions, they've been there for a while, so I don't have those original resumes for those individuals. We do get the new resumes when we get new people. Is there a way we can get some resumes for some of the older people during this
If you would like them all, or if you want to send me an email with
just
the
the
site
ones,
you want.
yeah, I just would like the ones that we don't have in this packet.
We'll get you all of them.
That'd be perfect.
Yep. Any other comments? Alderman Bell.
While we're on it, I believe it was the 12th Ward Alderwoman's question. Last time appointments came up a few months ago, as relates to receiving a document for attendance. I don't know, I personally haven't received that. I don't know if you received that, but would love to get a document as relates to attendance for our commissions.
Yeah, we have been collecting it, and we plan to give it out at a minimum once per year, if not twice per year. It'll also include attendance of all the members that we put on different boards and commissions, so it'll be all of you guys as well on those boards and commissions. So we'll make sure. I think it was supposed to come out, I believe, in February, but I'll make sure if we want it earlier, we can probably push that up. Any other questions, comments? Excellent. We will go to motions and resolutions under Planning and Development. Regrow died in committee this evening, so we will go to, there's nothing under Code and Regulation. We'll go to Finance and Personnel Committee and Alderman Logeman.
24 items. Item number 1, under Finance and Personnel Committee. Award of bid, Fire Department Station Ware to Uniform Den of Loves Park, Illinois, in the estimated amount of $60,000. The contract duration is 1 year with 4 possible 1-year extension options. Annual price adjustments for CPI considered at contract renewal only. Funding source is the Fire Department operating budget. Item number 2, award of bid, garage commercial labor, light medium, to Anderson Rock River Ford, Bose Auto and Truck Service, Butita Auto, all of Rockford, Illinois, and Brad Manning Ford of DeKalb, Illinois, in the estimated amount of $250,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026, with 4 possible 1-year extension options. Annual price adjustments for CPI considered at contract renewal only. The funding source is the equipment fund. Item number 3, the award of bid lead service line replacement phase 9 to NTRAC Group of Loves Park, Illinois, in the not to exceed amount of $2 million. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the IEPA State Revolving Loan Fund. Item number 4, award of bid lead service line replacement phase 10 to NTRAC Group of Loves Park, Illinois, in the not to exceed amount of $2 million. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the IEPA State Revolving Loan Fund. Item number 5, award of bid granular activated carbon replacement to Calgon Carbon Corporation of Moon Township, Pennsylvania, in the estimated amount of $150,000. The contract duration is 1 year with 4 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the water operating budget. Item number 6, award of RFP submersible pump services to Lane Christensen Company of Aurora, Illinois, and Water Well Solutions of Elburn, Illinois, in the estimated annual amount of $1 million. The Contract duration is 1 year with 4 possible 1-year extension options. Annual price adjustments for CPI considered at contract renewal only. Funding source is the Water Fund operating budget. Item number 7, the award of non-competitive contract, John Deere Equipment, Parts, and Services to Westside Tractor Company of Rockford, Illinois, in the annual amount of $100,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026, with 2 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the Equipment Fund operating budget. Item number 8, the award of non-competitive contract, heavy-duty truck repair services and parts to Lakeside International of Rockford, Illinois, in the estimated amount of $95,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026, with 2 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the Equipment Fund operating budget. Item number 9, the award of non-competitive contract, traffic signal electronic equipment to Mobile Trucks Mobility and Traffic Experts of Davenport, Iowa, in the estimated annual amount of $300,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026, with 2 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the traffic section operating budget. Item number 8. Item number 10. Award of non-competitive contract Southeast Rockford Superfund Site groundwater monitoring to Nationwide Environmental Services of Wheat Ridge, Colorado, in the estimated annual amount of $100,750. The contract duration is 1 year with 4 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the Water Fund operating budget. Item number 11, the award of non-competitive contract infrastructure scheduling software to JAM Software LLC of Middletown, Delaware, in the annual amount of $27,599. The contract duration is 1 year with 3 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the Information Technology and Integration Operating Budget. Item number 12, the award of non-competitive contract ESRI software products to Environmental Systems Research Institute Incorporated of Redlands, California, in the amount of $290,300. The contract duration is 1 year with 2 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the Information Technology and Integration Operating Budget. Item number 13, the award of joint purchasing contract infrastructure software to Insight Public Sector of Tempe, Arizona, in the amount of $118,901.76. The contract duration is 1 year with 3 possible 1-year extension options. The funding source is the Information Technology and Integration Operating Budget. Item number 14, award of joint purchasing contract policy training, consultation, update, reporting, and delivery services to Lexipol LLC of Frisco, Texas, in the amount of $52,254.50. The contract duration is 1 year with 1 possible 1-year extension option. The funding source is the Fire Department operating budget. The award of item number 15, the award of engineering agreement, well number 6 reservoir rehabilitation to Fairgram Engineering of Rockford, Illinois, in the annual amount of $29,000. The contract duration is through December 31st, 2026. The funding source is the Water Fund operating budget. Item number 16, award of professional services, Water Division cost of service rate study to Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company Incorporated of Downers Grove, Illinois, in the not to exceed amount of $61,189. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the Water Fund operating budget. Item number 17, contract renewal, medical stop-loss insurance 2026 to Tokyo Marine HCC Insurance of Houston, Texas, for the following contract amount rates: $42.90 per employee per month for single enrollment and $156.72 per employee per month for family enrollment. This is a 43% increase as compared to 2025. The total estimated annual premium is $1,789,020. based on the current number of health insurance participants. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the Health Insurance Fund. Item number 18, contract renewal, Pharmacy Benefit Manager 2026 for prescription drug coverage for the City of Rockford PPO Health Insurance Plan to Express Scripts Incorporated of St. Louis, Missouri for the following contract amount rates. Expenses are based on average wholesale price less a discount. Retail costs of brand name drugs will be AWP less 19.5%. Generic drugs will be AWP less 83%. Greater discounts will be applied for mail order. These new rates represent approximately $667,000 in savings. The total estimated cost is $7 million. The contract duration is 1 year with 2 additional one-year renewal options. The funding source is the Health Insurance Fund. Item number 19, contract renewal, Workers' Compensation Excess Coverage 2026 to Safety National Casualty Corporation of St. Louis, Missouri for the following contract amount rates. Premium is based on estimated annual payroll of $87,789,490 at 25.78 cents per $100 of payroll for a total estimated annual premium of $226,321. The contract duration is 1 year. The funding source is the Workers' Compensation Fund. Item number 20, Approval to take proposals for permit and code enforcement software. The funding source will be the Community and Economic Development budget. Item number 21, approval and acceptance of the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity LIHEAP HHS grant award in the amount of $2,896,554. The grant does not require a cost mix. The grant term is from October 1, 25 to October 31 of 27. The grant will provide funds used for approved clients, electric and or heating bills, energy usage, education, staff training, payroll, and administration costs. Item number 22, authorization for matching funds in the amount of $200,000 in partnership with the Rockford Area Venue and Entertainment Authority for a Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Tourism Attraction Grant. Item number 23, funding reimbursement for sidewalks on Linden Road in conjunction with Crusader Community Health Expansion in the amount of up to $50,000. The funding source is the 2025 Casino Funds Economic Development. Item number 24, the funding reimbursement for sidewalks and bus stop on Alpine and Linden Road in conjunction with PCI Pharma Services Expansion in the amount of up to $250,000. The funding source is the 2025 Casino Funds Economic Development. And finally, item number 25, a change order firewall replacement and IT support to Sayers Technology Services, LLC of Vernon Hills, Illinois, with an amended amount of $354,422.55. The change order extends to support and include Microsoft Office 365 deployment consultation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Council, there's 25 items before us. Is there any discussion? Alderwoman Torino.
Thank you, Mayor. On item number 22, should this grant get funded by DCO, where is that $200,000 match from the city going to be coming from? Is that decided yet, or?
Director Haggerty? Or Mr. Cagnoni?
The funding source for the match is the 2026 Casino Arts and Culture Funds.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on the 25 items?
Sorry, just to clarify, that's 2025 and 2026.
Okay. Thank you.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee. Logeman. Tarina.
No on 22, 23, and 24. Aye on the rest.
Hoffman. Granith. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. Items 1 through 21, 10 ayes. Items 22, 23, 24, 8 ayes, 2 noes, and item 25 is 10 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to new business, planning and development. Alderman Durkee.
Under Roman numeral 7A, we have 2 items, numbers 1 and 4 left. Number 1, an ordinance approving the city service and licensing agreement between Citywise Software LLC and the City of Rockford to create an affordable rental housing platform hosted on a city domain. Number 4, an ordinance approving a development agreement between the City of Rockford and LT Construction for the 2026 Construction Workforce Development Initiative in the not-to-exceed amount of $700,000. The funding source is ARPA funds designated for youth violence prevention. Place these up for passage.
All right, Council, is there any discussion on those items before you? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee.
Aye.
Logeman.
Aye.
Tarina. Hoffman. Granith. Beach. Salgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. Item number 1, 9 ayes, 1 no. Item 4, 10 ayes.
Excellent, thank you. Next, we'll go to Code and Regulation Committee. Alderman Bonnie.
Thank you, Mayor. We had 8 items. We have item 4 is laid over. Item 1 is an ordinance approving 2025-2026 contract
between the City of Rockford and the Winnebago County Health Department for a tobacco enforcement program to conduct compliance checks. Item 2, an ordinance approving a zoning map amendment from R3 multifamily residential zoning to R1 single-family residential zoning at 32XX Searles Avenue. Melanie Ladig and Gary Hafferty are the applicants. Item 3, an ordinance approving a zoning map amendment from C2 limited commercial zoning district to R2 two-family residential zoning district at 6783 and 6819 Fincham Drive and 886 and 891 Whitechapel Lane. LAS Management is the applicant. Item 5, an ordinance approving a special use permit for a special event space in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1111 through 1115 Fifth Avenue and 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. Anahi Ruby is the applicant. Item 6, an ordinance approving the sale of liquor by the drink class NGL in conjunction with a special event space in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1111 through 1115 Fifth Avenue, 1110 and 1120 Sixth Avenue. Anahi Ruby, Daniel Palacios, Azul Ruby Dominguez, Spider on Quinta LLC, doing business as Spider on Quinta, are the applicants. Item 7, an ordinance approving the sale of liquor by the drink NGL in conjunction with a restaurant in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 1060 West Riverside Boulevard, Daisy de Haro. Casa Amigos Mexican Grill LLC, doing business as Casa Amigos Mexican Grill is the applicant. And item 8, an ordinance approving the modification of an existing liquor license to add video gaming terminals to an existing restaurant in a C2 limited commercial zoning district at 2327 North Main Street, Thomas Rotello. Olympic Tavern, doing business as Olympic Tavern, is the applicant.
Thank you. Council, items 1 through 3 and 5 through 8 are before you. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee. Logeman. Tarina. Hoffman. Granith. Beach. Delgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie.
Aye.
Item number 1, 2, 10 ayes. Item 3, 9 ayes, 1 no. Item 5, 10 ayes. Item 6, 7, 9 ayes, 1 no. Item 8, 10 ayes.
Thank you. Next, we'll go to Finance and Personnel Committee. Alderman Logeman.
We have 5 items on the Finance and Personnel Committee. Item number 1 is an ordinance approving the collaborative agreement between the City of Rockford Human Services Department and Rosecrans Incorporated. The provisions of this agreement are based on services to children and families enrolled in and served through Head Start program and include the provision of a full-time school-based counselor funded with quality improvement funds for the period of October 1st, 25 through September 30th of 26 in the amount of $96,537.28. Item number 2 is an ordinance approving the collaborative agreement between the City of Rockford Health and Human Services Department and Youth Services Network. The provisions of this agreement are based on services to children and families enrolled in and served through the Head Start program and include the provision of a full-time trauma specialist to support early Head Start children and families funded through the quality improvement funds for the period of October 1, 25 through September 30th of 26 in the amount of $90,222. Item number 3 is an ordinance approving the Head Start staff incentive policy for the City of Rockford Health and Human Services Department Head Start Early Head Start Division. Item number 4 is an ordinance approving the addition of a city-owned property located at 2022 Auburn Street to the city's Mow-to-Own program. And finally, item number 5 is an ordinance approving the lease agreement with Comprehensive Community Solutions Incorporated of Rockford, Illinois for one office unit located at 917 South Main Street, Rockford, Illinois at a rate of $450 a month for a total of not to exceed cost of $4,050 for the 9-month lease term, January 1, 26 to September 30th of 26. The funding source is the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, fiscal year 22, Strategies to Support Children Exposed to Violence grant. No city match is required. Place these items up for passage. Thank you, Mayor.
Council, any discussion on those items? Clerk, please call the roll.
Durkee. Aye. Logeman. Aye. Tarina. Hoffman. Granith. Beach. Delgado. Meeks. Bell. Bonnie. 10 ayes.
Is there a motion to adjourn? We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those in favor